should be really fun. They ended up moving the shoot up in the weather, and so that ended up making me have to be here early. But I'm glad at least it worked out that I can still be here. Super excited to see what you have to present today. I want to say, like, this semester, from my perspective, has been really awesome. This was really an experiment. This is the second time we've done this at all, but really the first time we did it this way, in this kind of level of intensity with everybody coding every week. And I'm really happy with how it went. I'm really impressed with a lot of the work that you did and the results that we saw and how people improved. And I'm really hoping that you guys found it helpful too, and that that it opens up new doors for you, and that like this is something that we end up getting to keep doing. I think it's been really fun. On that note, I wanted to ask a few questions before we kick off. One, I asked this at the beginning of the semester, and I want to ask it once more at the end of the semester. And just to make sure that I'm listening and think about this as like a customer development experiment, because like I probably have an opinion or a perspective and so the way you ask the questions is important. So the question I'd like to ask is, what other than travel would be better about having this class at UT instead of a Capital Factory? Travel's kind of an obvious thing, it's more inconvenient. Is there anything that would be better about it if we made it at UT? We didn't have it at Capital Factory.
Oh, sorry. I would say Panopto taping, perhaps. The classrooms in UT have, they're set up so that if you did have to miss a class, there's a recording of it, so you can catch back up if you had to be away for some reason. That's the only thing I could think of. I love it being here.
That's a good one. Actually, probably that's something more like we choose to do or choose not to do, but we definitely can do that. So that's good. That's a good piece of feedback that either way, we should make sure happens. We're recording this one right now, so we have a transcript on it. Anybody else? Thank you.
So it doesn't seem like anyone feels strongly one way or the other. They like both options, Josh.
Be closer, repeat that to me.
They like both options, and it doesn't seem like they're coming down on one side or the other.
I didn't. Sorry, somebody needs to say close to me.
Oh, I think I'll send you a text. How about that?
Yeah, from the students. Anything else for students? Okay. Again, trying to not like ask what I want to hear, but like, is there any benefits to having it in Capital Factory? Like, is that helpful, or is it like does it not matter? I don't know how to interpret that. Okay, well, I guess, like, I just want to make sure, like, we're here. It's certainly obviously easier for me, and it's easier for the instructors to get here. My hope is that, like, it's a different experience for you. Like, you get exposed to different things, and you get, like, whatnot. But I definitely want to know if it's, like, causing any issues, if the transportation is a real problem, or if, like, in other ways, like, it doesn't, because, yeah, our goal is to make it great for you guys. And so, yeah, appreciate the feedback. And if you want to send that, just as an email, or you want to give it to tell Anjali, or do it some other way, that's great too. All right, well, thanks so much. And yeah, I'm excited to see the pitches today. We've got a prize for nothing crazy, but a fun prize for who you all pick as the winner, as well as $100. So there'll be, a prize for the winner you all pick. And then, as you heard briefly mentioned, I asked the TAs to select the 10 kind of like best overall performing students of the semester, not just of this last pitch. And we've got a special prize for all you as well, that we'll announce at the end. So with that, I'll hand it back off to Anjali. Or to DJ or whoever.
Yeah. All right. So our first contestant will be Harshit. Oh, other way. Okay. I got it 50% chance. I got it wrong. All right. Come on up.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Zara. I am a sophomore CS major, and I'm really excited to share with you my product. So, what the problem that this aims to solve is teacher burnout. And teacher burnout is a huge issue. Right now, over 40% of teachers are reporting significant burnout, and 1 in 5 are expected to leave the profession this year. This is creating a national teacher shortage. Now, most tools aim kind of to add AI automation or add automation tools to speed up their workflow. But from talking to teachers, what they really need is real human support. They need people to lean on, people to learn from, and people to help them with their growing class work, which is why I built Teach Together. So this is a two-sided platform, but I'll begin with the teacher view. So I already inputted some information. So they put in a lot of things about what they teach along with their curriculum, their support preferences, and their support availability. Then it matches them with a team. And this team is of teachers that are from like the same area who follow the same curriculum. And this is really important, especially for newer teachers, because they often get placed in districts where they don't have a support system. They're the only teacher who teaches that subject, and they have no one to lean on. So this gives them a small group of teachers that really understands them and is overall better than a Facebook group with like hundreds of teachers. So once they're matched with this team, they're taken to a dashboard where they have options for video calls, chats. They also have the operations hub, which covers a lot of resources that they can share, along with integrations with Google Drive, so it fits really well within their workflow. So outside of the team, they also have classroom support. And this is really important for them because especially as the teacher shortage continues, the remaining educators have really high student-to-teacher ratios. In fact, a lot of teachers have 30-to-1 student ratios, so they really just need a helping hand in classrooms. So through this, they're able to find matches specifically for their needs. For instance, like at Austin ISD, there are a lot of classrooms where there's language barriers. So for this, they can filter by students who specialize in ESL. And the students who are on this are all college students, mainly those who want to go into education and want that real experience in the classroom. They're able to look at resources, find mentors, and mentorship is really important because 60% of teachers in their first 5 years who are new end up quitting. So mentorship is a huge deal because by having a teacher that they can look up to, it really just gives them a lot of support. But this is only one side of the platform. Students are also able to join, so I can just quickly show their flow. So if you join as a student, you put in your university, you put in what you're interested in helping with, as well as your availability. And from here, you can request teachers, you can look at your matches, you can see a schedule that's a weekly, as well as edit your profile information. So, all in all, the main idea behind Teach Together is to give teachers that integral human support. And this has been developed and iterated with the feedback of teachers. At first, I kind of thought like, okay, to stop teacher burnout, I should just build another AI automation tool. But from these conversations, it became clear that they did not need another AI engine. What they needed was real people that they can rely on. So this aims to solve that. Through this week, I talked to more teachers. I built real matching logic. I added the entire student flow, and it's been validated by now 5 Austin ISD teachers. So I'm really excited to see where it has come. The biggest remaining risk I foresee is that this does kind of rely on network effects. In order for good matching to happen, there needs to be a good set of teachers who have alignment in terms of their subject, curriculum, and teaching style. So I would have to definitely invest a lot into marketing and finding the correct channels to attract the most teachers. So yeah, that's Teach Together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions or, yeah. Yeah. Kind of, but the idea is I wanted it to be a lot more tailored support. The thing about LinkedIn and Facebook is just that there's so many people that it's very hard to find those matches that are really tailored to you. And the idea behind this is we're matching them more than just like their subject. We're also matching them on their teaching style and things like that, which allow for a lot stronger matching and actually a teaching team, which they can rely on. Yeah, you can filter by location. From the teachers I've talked to, pretty much like, for example, Texas follows TEKS, so they would prefer to be with teachers who are in the same state at least. But for example, for AP classes, in that way, it wouldn't matter as much because it's standardized across the nation. Yeah, you can.
How did you come up with this?
Yeah, this is interesting. I've always been really passionate about education. I always wanted to create like an educational tool that would help students. So I actually went to teachers to try to talk to them about, okay, what would you need? And what I realized that actually the biggest gap of support is actually for them. And it became apparently clear. I was talking to my high school teachers who they would always put on a smile. I always thought that they were absolutely slaying everything, and they talked about how they're working 60 hours a week, how they had to build everything from the ground up, and especially how the workload keeps on increasing, especially as AI keeps growing, because they have to keep on reinventing their curriculum. So my hope is that through this tool, they'll have enough human resources as well as AI resources to help them cope and thrive in this age. Any more questions?
This is one of those ideas where surprising that it doesn't exist, and it's a complicated problem that really delivers a lot of good. Did you find when you were getting ready to do this, is there anyone else trying to tackle this similarly? Did you see any, not competitors, but relevant comparisons?
I looked at a lot of things. A lot of things are more like AI tools for automation or like a genie that does things for them. I think the closest thing would probably be Facebook groups, but I talked to some teachers and those have over 500 teachers, so it just becomes a lot of spam for them, and they really want this tailored support. And I do see this more fit for those newer teachers coming into the profession.
I feel like you did the right balance between keeping it simple enough to use, but having relevant filters that it could be very usable and helpful.
Yeah, I hope so.
Nicely done. Good presentation too.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Harshit, and today I'll be presenting Holly, which is an AI co-pilot for your Meta glasses that guide automated technician workers. Sorry, one moment. Okay, perfect. So my name is Harshit, and I'll be presenting Holocron, which is an AI co-pilot for automobile technicians. So last summer, I was interning at AutoZone as a auto mechanic engineering intern, and I was essentially in charge of repairing all the vehicles that came into the shop. And I got a view into how automotives were actually being repaired. And what would happen is there's a bunch of different cars that people have. Like in this room alone, we might have like 50 to 60 different type of vehicles, from Honda, Accord, Toyota, a bunch of different vehicles, right? And every single vehicle has a specific way to manufacture and repair different parts that go wrong. For example, if your timing belt goes wrong, it's a different way to repair it if it's a Toyota versus if it's a Honda, right? And the current way that happens is when I was working in the automobile shop, they would essentially give me like this little tablet where every single time that I figured out an issue with the car, I would have to go search it up on the tablet, find out the diagram for the specific car, then fix it. And it was honestly like a lot of context switching, taking my hands off the vehicle. And on top of that, since I was just an intern, I had to go and talk to like the senior advisors to help me repair the vehicle. So then I thought, why not just build an app using Meta Glasses that can guide you through the repair process along the way? So all you have to do is buy a pair of Meta Glasses, $450. Use code HARSH if you guys are needing a promo code. So you just put them on, and then, so these are the sunglasses version. I wanted to look extra cool today, but I have the clear versions too. So essentially you type in the vehicle that you want to work on. I personally have a Honda CR-V at home. And then I say, hey, Holly, okay, 1 second. It's not sharing my screen properly. Sorry, the stream isn't working properly. Never mind, don't buy these things. These things are super buggy. Okay, I'm gonna power these glasses back on.
Take your time. This is a normal thing when you demo. It always happens.
If you've seen like Mark Zuckerberg demo stuff on like the Facebook stuff, he always fails. So like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm wearing the Meta products, so.
Look, Zuck, stay focused on connecting the glasses. Let's keep moving.
Oh yeah, I got you. Okay, glasses are starting. Okay, it's streaming, finally.
All right.
Okay, so, hey Holly, there's an issue with my engine. How do I jumpstart the vehicle? Okay, so now I just took a picture of, now it's thinking, let's go back here. Oh my God. He's probably trying to eat my pasta. I left it out on the stove. Let's see. Okay, so now it's gonna start speaking. Put the volume up. Okay, that is weird. I don't think I shared the sound. Oh my God. Okay, interesting enough. So just imagine that it's speaking, but it basically gives you step-by-step instructions like through the glasses themselves. So they basically talk you through like, hey, you need to connect the red cables to the positive terminals of both batteries. And then on top of that, if you swipe, it'll also, so if there was like a car engine in front of me, right? You can kind of see like I have an agent in the background, which essentially goes and marks up the image and says like, hey, you need to connect the red cable here and then connect the black cable here. And then it actually displays in the Meta Glasses if you have like the premium model. So then the technician can wear it and it essentially guides them through step by step. On top of that, I basically fed in a bunch of service docs from all these different providers. So from the different manuals, whether it be Toyota, Honda, etc., it basically pulls the relevant repair information from each manual. And in addition to it speaking to you, you can also read it from the manual, see the repair guide, and then just see like the key points as well if you need it summarized. And all of these, you don't need the phone at all. The phone is just for the demo purposes. All of this is done through the glasses. So the essential main idea is just to like enable any frontline worker in the automobile industry to have expert capability with just seeing and listening to what you're seeing through the glasses. So the same thing that GitHub Copilot did for coding, this product is trying to do for automobile technicians. And funny enough, we ended up like cold calling, and like I reached out to the same place that I worked to before, and we were trying to turn this thing into like a real product. So it's basically me, my buddy, and a guy named Brian Kyle, who's now working on this after demoing this to him. And yeah, and we actually have a meeting with like, if you guys have heard of A16Z Speedrun, I went on LinkedIn and then messaged on one of his posts. They just said like, if you're building anything, just comment on it. And then I commented on it, and then someone reached out to me in the DMs, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's a cool opportunity. So that's kind of the product so far. So yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. They actually like released the wearable device access toolkit, which allows like developers to build on their products. So like, yeah, you're right. It's like everything's like super beta right now. Like they want to get this in the hands of developers, so then they like promote the Meta glasses, yeah, to get more sales. Yeah.
I was curious, since agents or LLMs are normally bad about like outputting pixel coordinates,
Yeah.
to implement the annotations.
Yeah, right now it's just like a Gemini model. I essentially have like two agents in the back. I have the image generation agent, and then I have another agent which is a safety agent. The reason, and then that basically double checks and cross verifies. In the initial testing of this, it asked me to put like lighter fluid in the windshield wipers. So like after hearing that, I was like, yeah, I gotta add like the safety agent in there. So I just have like basically like two-factor authentication before you give like instructions to people. Yeah. Yeah, the image picture comes from the glasses, so the glasses take the picture, and then annotations come from the model. Yeah.
What was your tech stack? What did you use to make this?
Yeah, the Meta Glasses needs and mobile applications. So Xcode, like just Swift project for the iOS app. Backend, just a bunch of different agents running on like normal Python. Deployed onto GCP for like communication between the glasses to the phone to the server, and some proprietary stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you thought about compatibility with other like glasses that have like AR capabilities, so like you could potentially like project the annotations on like what you're seeing through the glasses? Have you thought about that? Or like future?
Yeah, I would definitely love to do that, but I love the Meta Glasses because you can use code harsh on the shopping page. So maybe in the future, but now for Meta for sure. Oh, yeah.
What happens if the glasses aren't able to recognize like a part or something like that? You said that you feed in like service docs from different manufacturers. What if you're using like a custom part that's not from like an OEM or something like that, and the camera isn't able to recognize it? What happens actually?
Yeah, I never thought about that. Probably in that case, like it would just prompt back to the user for more information. So at the end of the day, like I'm planning on adding like confidence scores at the back end of it. So like if it's not like over 60% or 70% confident about an instruction or a part, it could just like talk to you like a normal like agent and like ask you for more information on it. So yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much.
course, right when I stand up here, it starts going awry. That's all right, I'll just do this on one phone then. Cool. Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm here to present SRCom. So what this was originally was a way for me to create a means of communication for my dad, who's deaf, and his deaf buddies in our race car, as we couldn't utilize radio headsets. Since then, I've expanded it into industrial applications, say, crane operators, dump truck drivers, and the sorts, because they also rely on radios, which will suffer from issues like miscommunications, people talking on the same channel, and you also get like the radio dropping out. Another issue that comes about with that is that you have a lot of different people that speak different languages in the construction industry. And so jumping into this, I mean, the racing interface is pretty much the same as it's always been. Everything that we need is there. Additionally, you can go in here, edit stuff. So say you're in a terrible mood and you don't want anything to be funny, I could say, not funny. You can save that. And so you can basically go in and create an entire customized decision tree of messages. I can even delete it. I can go in here and create new submenus in the sort. And that's all well and good. Now, the thing that we've added is up here, you can change the language inside of the application. There's about 53 languages that I've modeled into it. So say I change it to Spanish. It should change here in a moment. Now, I'm running this on my 10-year-old phone, which really hates when I mess with it, and everything works great on my new phone, which isn't connecting to my laptop. There we go. So, like I said, this phone is 10 years dated, and so it's kind of been really bugging out. On modern Android applications, everything's been working seamlessly. Now, the cool thing is I can go on here and I can message this phone anything that I want. So, before I get to that, I'm getting ahead of myself. So we'll go back, and I'll go into the industrial interface to go over that stuff. The computer thing kind of sent me awry in my whole plan for this. So in the industrial interface, there's a handful of things. So this is all preset for a crane operator. Now, something that we've added is Meshtastic technology. And what that is it allows you to bypass the need for cellular reception. Say you're in a mine shaft up in a crane, your phone's probably not going to be able to connect to a cell tower. So what you use are these little mesh nodes, which what you would do is have them all down the tower. Everyone just carries it in your pocket. They're like $30 to manufacture. So I'll go and make sure that all of this is set up and configured. So as you can see on the screen, this is basically the identification for each of these two nodes. It's essentially your phone number. You would put everyone's phone number that's on your crew into there. And then I'll go into the interface here. Now, on my other phone, I'm currently looking at this crew interface, which is basically just a built-in messaging system for it. And so on the crew interface, on this phone, I'm just going to send a message to the second phone that's up here. So I'll say, "Are you good?" And that should automatically send over the mesh, which I forgot to configure on this device because it's all on the other one. It's okay, I wrote everything on my hand.
All right, so I'll go ahead and I'll send a message to the other phone here. So I'll say load secured. And that's going to send over the mesh, which then gets received on this phone. Now I can respond, copy that, which is going to show up on the screen here in a moment. And I'll dismiss that. Now what's cool is, like I said, we have that auto translator built in. So I can change this to, let's say you're a French speaker, and this will take a moment to load. Like I said, it works seamlessly on the phone that won't connect to my computer. There we go. So I can text this phone, and it'll automatically translate from French to English, and vice versa. I'll text this device, "What's up?" and it's going to automatically translate it to French. So everything kind of happens on the back end there. And so you could basically speak I could be a German guy talking to a deaf guy, and we can have a full conversation with no miscommunications because everything's being auto-translated on the back end here. Now, what's cool is this is the Bluetooth controller that is designed for my race car. So this controls the application, which it's connected to my other phone. So I'll just connect it to this one real quick. So it connects to it via Bluetooth. Let's see. And if it's already connected, it'll just automatically connect. Apologies. I didn't have it turned on. Tell you what, I'm going to switch everything over to my other phone and hope that it shows up on screen, so stand by for a moment here. Cool. All right, so it's already connected to this phone. So, say you're racing, and I already have Nolan's phone number configured in here. So this works with both screens. It basically just fully controls the app. All these buttons are color coordinated with the application. So I could be like, something's broken with the suspension and wheel on the left front with the tire. It blew out, and I'm coming into the pits. So that's going to automatically send to Nolan's phone, and he's going to text me back. Copy that, standing by for the pit stop. And then I can dismiss that on the steering wheel. So basically, that allows for the whole system to be hands-free, and that 3D printed housing can be customized for any application, whether, like I said, you're in a dump truck, a race car, in a crane, whatever you need, that housing can be customized to fit your application, so you don't have to be over here texting and driving all the time, which is kind of where your hands need to be. As far as like aspirations for the future, as soon as I graduate, I plan on kind of releasing this into the motorsports industry. I've had a couple of people approach me during races asking like, oh, like, can I buy this? Where can I get this? And so I'm kind of going to get the whole system to a point where it's usable for any car. Like I said, the steering wheel system's designed for our steering wheel specifically, so I need to make like a more universally mounting system for that. I've also been talking with some friends of mine that work in the construction industry, and they've expressed a lot of interest in utilizing this system. Now, that means I got to go reach out to companies and see what the actual interest would be in creating contracts to implement this system into those kind of corners of the industry. Some things that worked and didn't work was it was kind of a huge headache to get the auto translator to work. Obviously, you have to have a newer phone for all of this to work seamlessly. The old phone really hates it when I try to shove a lot of stuff through it. And then things that did work was, I mean, everything that you've seen has been pretty great. I'd use Claude Code to do the whole thing. I don't know a lick of coding language at all, and it's all just been vibe code it. Hey, Claude, do this, stop sucking, do better. But yeah.
Thank you. A quick question. I thought I saw this, but are the fields dynamically generated based on the text response that someone gives? Does the AI suggest the responses in these colored options, or is it?
Yeah, so I
What was
mean,
it?
everything that's in the racing interface, I had manually put in there based on like what everything that I
Pre-programmed.
feel like.
Preset.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, now, like I said, I can go in here and be like, I can customize this to anything I want. So instead of having like a status field, I could have, I don't know, a hungry field. And then I can preload that with a bunch of different food options or something. So you can build your own decision trees
Got it.
based off of that. Because I know that like when I'm at the racetrack, my dad's like, oh, I wish I could say this. Now I could be like, oh, I got you, pre-program it and you're good to go. As far as the industrial interface, this was all kind of stuff predetermined by AI, like what would be needed. And I read through it and I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Because I'm not a crane operator, so I don't really know what they would need. And that would be more of like a customer decision of like, what do they want out of it? And then I would go in and pre-code it with the like original decision tree before they're in there and customizing stuff.
Okay. Thank you. Questions?
Cool, thank you.
Nicely done.
Also, we're going to give everyone 5 minutes and then we cut you guys off after that.
Hello, I'm Sullivan. I'm a sophomore computer science major at UT Austin, of course. And today this is GitScout. So I think the main issue here is that a lot of engineers' LinkedIns just aren't polished at all. Like half of my friends don't even have profile pictures on their LinkedIns, but if you go to their GitHub, you can see that they're building really cool things, and recruiters can't really capture that signal because they don't look at GitHub when they're looking at resumes. Maybe you can put a project, but they can't see the actual code quality. So GitScout aims to do that work for you. So on the homepage here, we can just see top developers. Of course, we have Linus. He's the most followed on GitHub. You can see which repositories are trending. You can see live activity. And for example, if I wanted to find a Rust engineer in Austin, I can search that. And even though I have a typo, we actually have a LLM go and parse out the tags. So what it does here is it found 6, 7 developers. So it found language Rust and location Austin, and essentially just, as you can see, we have his languages Rust, MDX, JavaScript, shows his followers, a lot of repositories, and then you can click AI draft, and then what happens here is, well, again, we have Sonnet go and look at all of his public repositories, readmes, and it writes a personalized message that we can automatically send to him. And if you don't like anything, like for example, you wanted to get rid of this M dash, you can edit it right here. You can add your name. And then, oops, I hit escape. You can add your name. And then you hit open an email. And it pops up ready to send. And you can just hit send, boom. I actually tested this and I recorded about a 30% response rate, which is extremely high for cold outreach. So there's definitely a lot of value here. The other cool tab we have is the network, and it essentially is a social graph of GitHub developers. We have a crack score, so as you can see, 100 is the highest, and you can actually raise the min score. And then you can filter by hireable because GitHub has a open to work section on the profile, so we can click there. We can sort based on different things such as followers. The crack score works by is multiple social, so it's follow in, follow out, star count, repo quality, stuff like that, and also how connected to the rest of the graph you are. So if you're more connected to other developers, you're more likely to be a good developer. So yeah, you can go and do AI drafts with other people as well, edit it, send. And we also have neighborhoods to find group similar people. So let's see. I'll search for my friend. Hi, Xavier. Oh no. You should be in here. Yeah. So the way it works now is you have a seed user, and it starts by scraping out by them, and it expands the graph just by checking all of their followers, etc. But yeah, if we go to Egoist neighborhood, we can see other TypeScript devs and Randy's circle actually, and they all have something in common. So if you want to find a developer like Egoist, for example, you could just hit his neighborhood, and you can find a whole bunch like him. And then there's also a similar tab, so I could find some similar developers to myself, and it tells you what % match based on languages, repositories, etc. Score. And then if you wanted to add someone to a shortlist, you can hit the star here, and you can go here, and it saves them. So you can maybe reach out to them later if you haven't decided yet. And again, last we have topics. So this is just a little preset topic form. Maybe you're looking for machine learning. It's just kind of cookie cutter type stuff. And of course, you can always go and view their profile on GitHub. So you can scout it before you maybe reach out to them. So yeah, that's GitScout. Any questions? Yes.
So, how are you pulling up the search results? I know you're doing an LLM tagging, but how are you matching tags?
Yeah, so GitHub has a lot of like rich API data already. So the API does a lot of work for us. We can just, like I said, we start with one seed user, and it builds the graph out from that user. So it checks all of their followers and their following, or maybe someone who's contributed to the repository. And then it builds out from those people, and it just keeps expanding the graph until it's bigger and bigger. So that's how we populate it.
Do you do any sorting, like stars or anything like that?
Yeah, so that's the crack score. We have like the social graph. It ranks you based on your follower ratio, follow in, follow out, based on your average follower crack score. It does rankings based on all of that. So if we look at the network, we can see it tells you his star series is 4.3 thousand. The Primeagen is 5.8 thousand, and these are crack scores here. So if I was to look at myself, I have a crack score of 40. So not as high as I wish, but yeah, I have 52 stars and 17 whole followers. Yeah.
You tell us more about the crack score. What's behind it?
Yeah, so it's just essentially like a graph network, and every follow in, we check the average crack score of your follower. The higher average follower you have, your crack score is going to be higher. The more stars you have, you're going to have a higher crack score. The better ratio you have, you're going to have a higher crack score. And also we have a commit frequency attribute. So if you're committing consistently and frequently, then you're also going to be more cracked because I guess I feel like if you love coding, you love coding.
If you were working at a regular company, Acme, but you're checking in on Git, will those get picked up? Because it's still anonymous, but you're getting picked up from the activity?
Yeah, this is only for public GitHub repos.
It's like open source contributors.
Yes, this is, yeah, exactly. Yeah. On our front page here, we have our tagline is Scout Top Talent from Open Source. So yeah, it is aimed at open source.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, let's try a live search for someone in college to see if it works. Let's say UT Austin. Let's say UT Austin Rust, and let's see if we can find some UT Austin Rust people. Oh no. Yeah, I did hit my GitHub rate limit earlier before this demo, so we are kind of working on stale data right now. But you would be able to search for in that you would usually be able to search for example, like you said, like university student in Austin if you want to find a local intern. So yeah, this is pretty flexible. It can mold to fit your needs as a hiring manager, right? Yep.
Yeah, I think it's just a really good targeted presentation. Here's what it does. It was very clear, and then you showed multiple features that were well built out and thought through. So I think it's an excellent job, and I think, yeah, go find someone who needs to hire someone and see if they'll pilot with you.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Danush. I'm a junior CS student, and today I'm going to be presenting Am Human, which I did actually demo a few weeks ago, but I can show you some of the things that I've improved. So the problem here is that the internet is just flooded with AI agents, bots, scalpers, people that aren't human, and there's many areas where this is a problem. For example, if you're trying to buy concert tickets, a lot of the times, most of the tickets are just scalped up by automated bots, agents, and real people can't get what they want. And the thing is that current methods to protect against a bot, such as CAPTCHAs, two-factor authentication, all that kind of stuff, is pretty much useless now that we have these sophisticated agents that can literally take control of your entire computer and are super intelligent. So my idea is that we need to be able to prove that we're human using something that only humans have, which is a body, a face, and a voice, and hands. And so the idea is that you can take a series of biometric tests that involve you performing certain gestures with your hand and your face, and that will prove that you're human. And once you pass those tests, you're assigned a unique handle that you can choose based on your name or whatever, and that handle becomes a token of humanity that you can use then at any platform that wants to confirm that you're human. So you can sort of see that, like, I'm pointing out the simplicity of the fact that all you need is your name, one handle, and that's how you can show that you're human. And one improvement that I made since last time is just make the website look a lot nicer so you can sort of see everything I just said detailed in that way. And so then I can actually go ahead and show you the process of taking the test. So if I go to claim a handle, I can start the claim, and that will involve me giving access to my camera and mic so that we can complete the test. And then we can go ahead and complete the test. So it's going to be a set of 6 tests that ask me to do things with my hands and my face and my voice. So we can go ahead and do that right now. Nine, 6, 6, 9. Crystal Thunder. Okay, so it failed. That's just a glitch. Okay, we can try it again.
You're a bot?
I think so. Okay, it's a little glitchy. We can try it again. Crystal Thunder. Okay, so it worked this time. And then one interesting thing about this is that you only want every person to have one handle, because if you just farm a bunch of handles, they could, you know, that would sort of defeat the whole purpose of each human has one identifying token. So what this thing does is that it actually is going to hash your facial and your vocal signature into a database so that if you go back and try and claim another handle, it'll actually detect that you've already claimed another handle. There's another token with your biometrics linked to it, and it'll stop you from doing that. So a part of that is just saying this voice recording so that it can actually hash your vocal signature. I'm claiming my Am Human account today, and this is my real voice. And then with that, with the facial signature that it captured from the test and that vocal signature, it's going to secure my identity and hash it in the database. And if I had a little bit more time, I would actually go back, log out, and do the whole thing again, and it would not work because it would see that I've already claimed the handle. So I can then just choose any handle that I want. So I can just let it be my name, and then I can just use my email. I'm going to use a different email. Give me a second. Just choosing a random password. Okay, and then once I finish my setup, I can, oh, okay, I already logged into that one. I forgot to choose a different one. I have a few like test accounts made. Okay, so now I have an account and I can log in. And the verify email stuff isn't actually implemented yet, it just says that. So I can log in now. Hopefully this works. Okay. the email verification isn't like actually implemented, but I guess I forgot to remove that check from the login. But that's okay because I do actually already have another verified account that we can log in with. So I can just log in with that one. Okay, so this is a dashboard from earlier. And so this is now my dashboard with my handle. And then one other thing that I want to show you that I added is that, so I was actually talking about this, pitching this idea to a few different angel investors, and they sort of all pointed at the same feedback as there's like a cold start problem here, as in the idea would be that we want platforms and vendors to require this handle before the users use it, but they're not going to require the handle if users don't have the handles. And similarly, users aren't going to claim handles if platforms aren't requiring it. So I was trying to think, what's a way that we could maybe encourage users to start claiming handles by themselves? And one thing that I thought of was, we all have probably seen bots overrun Instagram, Twitter, all sorts of social media platforms. And then we also saw Moltbook be like a completely AI agent run media platform. So I was thinking, what if we could do something like an anti-Moltbook, where you have like a social media platform only for humans that bots cannot exist on. And the way that would be implemented is through this handle method. So you would have to log in to this media platform with your handle, and then that would mean that no bots can exist on it. So this is that social media platform, or prototype of it. So I can log in with a handle that I have, and what it's going to do is send a verification to my dashboard, so to make sure that I actually own that handle. You can see that here. If I approve that, then I'll actually get logged in to this social media platform. And the idea of the social media platform is really simple. It's just that everyone on it has to own a handle, which means that they have to be a human. They cannot be a bot. And there's some other cool things, like for example, you can't copy and paste into this text. So like the whole idea is that everything on this social media platform is actually human generated. There's nothing AI here. So I can say, I am a human, and post this, and this gets posted to the feed. And similar thing with, you can't post AI generated photos or videos, because the only way you can post photos or videos is if you take them in the app. So the whole idea of that is just, a social media platform for humans only, where nothing is AI generated. And if anyone has any feedback on if they'd actually use something like this, or what could be added that would make you want to explore using something like this, I would love to hear that. But yeah, that is Amhuman. Thank you very much.
So,
Oh, sorry, there was one question right there.
Can it tell apart identical twins?
I have to test that. That's definitely an edge case.
Fingerprinting, like, has an idea.
Yeah. I guess like, it really depends on how someone, like if they have like different voices, for example, it would like be able to differentiate that. But yeah, that's definitely an edge case that I have to explore.
But at least you know they're still humans.
Yeah.
I'm which one, and I can upload my sister's face ID.
Okay, yeah, so. Wow, okay.
What?
Okay, I'd have to test that.
I'm sure you didn't anticipate that question.
I did not. It's an important issue though, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, but wait, the point is still, you've identified a human.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if you two did share the same handle, that's still a way for you guys to prove that you're human. So that's like the major thing that we're trying to solve. So, sorry, I saw a question back there. Yeah.
So, like, in terms of your social media platform, what if people want, like, multiple accounts?
Why would they want multiple accounts?
Like, if I want to spam and then my name, like,
Just use Instagram. like the point of the social media platform is that it's just you're human and that's it. So you're a unique human on this platform, and that would be like the idea, the theme. Yeah.
I built some like web automation tools for agents, and it's going to be a bit harder than I think you're anticipating to prevent bots on this platform. With the login, would it be that you have to log in every time?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't explain that, but like every time you log in, you would have to use your handle to verify it, and you would also get logged out after like inactivity. So you couldn't log in and then like give your bot just unlimited access to it, because it would get logged out, and then you need to log in again with your handle.
So the login process is enter the handle and your password.
Yeah, so right now it is just password, but like obviously you could give your password to a bot and your handle. So I think what needs to be happen is it is either through like passkeys or through like a facial re-verification that like ensures that you're a human when you're logging in.
There's kind of another challenge in this, which is mostly surfaced in your marketing page, but like you're confounding I'm human with my identity. So you show a bunch of celebrity handles, you're not verifying that those celebrities are real, you're just verifying that the first person that signed up that had a human make the, motions got approved. I think like you have to figure out how to unwind that separation, because otherwise you're gonna have you would have a serious set of challenges. And I also agree that you're gonna probably have a hard time, like if you don't have passkey or some other intermediate verification every time, you're gonna have a hard time because some, clever Claude bot is going to go pay a human to set up an account and then log in with it.
Yeah, there has to be a human re-verification in the process, yeah.
Would you envision an OAuth-like process where you could take your handle and use it at other sites?
Yeah, or it would be like we have a widget that basically you enter in a handle and it verifies you're human, and that widget is like an SDK that different platforms could implement, like before their transaction process or whatever. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, hello? Thank you. Okay. How am I supposed to do it? Do you want to just mirror it? Okay, anyways. Hi, my name is Jaden. I'm a senior CS student. And just by a show of hands, how many of you guys had maybe suddenly just had a random pain in your chest and you feel like, I don't know, is this a heart attack? Like, what's going on? Anyone else feel like that? Exactly, right? There's a lot of times where like, there's these unexplained like symptoms that might just randomly show up, but you don't want to just like ask an AI chatbot, for example, because they don't really know you. They don't really know like what's going on in your life or what your lifestyle is like. So how could they like know what's going on with you? And you also don't want to like wait for a doctor or just schedule a doctor visit, because number one, you might not have enough time, or number two, there's a lot of just like friction in going to the doctor, but then the next day maybe it all clears up, right? So this is why I created Vital Rhythm. This is kind of a two-way app. The first feature I have is like logging what kind of symptoms you feel on the day-to-day basis. And then the next feature, or I guess goal of this app, is to just show you some things that could help improve your life. So just as a basic start here, I have a intro page. It's kind of just like logging how you might feel. So let's say I had a rough day. The first couple of questions are just generic. How did you sleep last night? Let's say I slept poor. I was preparing for this demo. Mostly snacking, so not very good at eating. Let's say I had high stress. One thing that I want to highlight about this demo is that it will kind of pick up on the symptoms you've been feeling in the past and kind of suggest them at the top here. So maybe I've had a lot of fatigue, brain fog, yada, 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 not having a great day, not having a great week. And I can go through all of these different maybe symptoms and just choose whatever I feel like is affecting me. And then how much is this affecting your day? Kind of limiting. And let's say I had moderate screen time, right? So after you log all this, the AI will kind of recommend, or first of all, tell you what's going on, as if you already didn't know. But in addition to that, it'll kind of tell you a bit of insight as to maybe what patterns lead to what different symptoms. And apart from this logging feature, which first of all collects all of your data, the next couple of features I'm gonna be introducing use this data and kind of show you why these things might be happening in your life. So first of all, this basic insights feature, just to show you kind of like a history or summary of what's going on. And then the suggestions feature is something that, well, the AI kind of takes your data, but it's a lot more personalized than just asking a chatbot, for example, because it'll tell you based on what you felt, what you can try to improve on. So pretty clearly, I've had some pretty bad eating habits, pretty bad sleeping, and the AI will kind of recommend me, hey, maybe you should think about how you eat or how you sleep or just things like that. Just moving along, the symptom tracker, pretty standard, telling me what kind of symptoms I've had. And then the doctor report is something I added to kind of bridge the gap between just having AI just tell you what's going on and actually going to a doctor. Because a lot of times when we go to doctors, I don't know if it's just you guys, but I often forget the whole array of problems I'm having, which sometimes leads me to kind of miss on one or two things that I'd like to tell my doctor. So this doctor report feature kind of just shows you, once you generate it, some of the things that you should tell your doctor. Basically just a summary of what's been going on with you. So as you can see here, it's got a couple of the symptoms, some of the questions to ask, and then some of the things that the doctor can probably help you on. And then finally, the last thing I kind of want to highlight is, of course, a personal chatbot, because who wouldn't want that? So, recently I asked if I have tetanus or not. I got a scratch, and maybe it could be tetanus. I don't know. And then maybe I want to ask, why does my chest hurt? And then just like any, I did not spell that right. Just like any other chatbot, though, it's just gonna respond with what AI would probably help you with. So just the typical response, but I just want to highlight that it does kind of pick up on your patterns and your data that you put in, so it's a lot more personalized here. But yeah, I think this is the core of Vital Rhythm. If I had more time, or in the future, I'd like to make this a mobile app. It's a lot more convenient that way, and I think it could be, put in the App Store, for example, or actually be put out there. But yeah, that's Vital Rhythm. Thank you, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering if, I don't know, have you thought about people that have, I guess maybe it's such a small portion of the population, but clinical OCD, where you might be thinking that you're always sick if you have this smallest issue. Just I worry about that with, I have OCD, but I know not to seek reassurance, but lots of people struggle with that, and I think AI is just opening a gateway into that. And so have you thought about how to address that?
Yeah, I guess not OCD in particular, but I think in general, I was going with this app was, I guess the more data and the more personalized you make this app, I think it would maybe know you more and help be able to detect these kind of symptoms or just maybe thoughts that you had. So
Is it more frequent? Maybe this isn't really.
yeah, exactly. So I think that's where I was going with this, but yeah, that's a good point.
Have you tested how often you actually use it? I agree with you that a mobile app would definitely help, but this seems like a relatively high level of effort for every day.
Yeah, I agree. I think initially I wanted to make the question super simple and just something you could log every day, just like how people journal every day or something. But I think that is definitely something I need to look at, just whether people, even if they had a good day, whether they'll log that or something like that. So that is a good point.
Yeah, good job. I mean, I can tell you've thought about this and iterated it through multiple times to fill it all out, which is great to see. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Great overview of the features, and I would, this is not a negative, but I learned this the hard way in my career, to carefully choose your words when you're giving a little bit more of a formal presentation. You have good personality, keep that up, but using words like yada yada or other filler words. I used yada yada in front of a lawyer that was a very formal guy and almost got me fired in my law firm. He was so mad at me and kicked me out of his office. So choose your words. Everyone's trying to listen and understand, so use the words that you're intending to make the biggest impact and help them understand.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you. And, okay, thank you guys very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Akshat Rahela. I'm a senior CS major here at UT. And something I noticed is that a lot of people want to form habits like going to the gym or maybe starting that side business, but everyone has the same excuse that they don't have the time. But the truth is that, like, let's be honest, all of us have the time. What we lack is structure. And that's something like I noticed that helps me stay consistent. So I thought, if people can't do it for themselves, let's have AI do it. So let's get started here. I have my main dashboard. This has all the core features. So like today's schedule and like the top 3 focuses of today, today's score, habits, daily reflection, screen time. Essentially, this is an AI productivity dashboard where it kind of tells you like how to manage your day so that you actually get stuff done and progress how you want to. And obviously the calendar has all the basic functionalities like adding an event. And an iteration that I added like this time was connecting to Google Calendar because a lot of people already are on that and they don't want to switch from that. So I thought that would be useful. For tasks, you can add tasks however you want. Ideally, users would specify like how long it takes and what time you want to get it done by. So let's say I added over here. So this is another kind of AI feature that I added. So with natural language, it can kind of like parse it for you and create a task based on whatever you need it to. Wait for it. Okay, there you go. So it created that task. I'll just add it. And we can also get the AI to prioritize our day for us because like a lot of us have like decision fatigue. We don't want to, actually decide like what we want to do and like what's our priority. So based on like what you've already told the AI and like based on how much time you have in the day, it can like decide that for you, and you can choose to accept those tasks based on that. If you go to the habit section, this is a classic like habit tracker. You can check things off as you want. There's a bunch of analytics. Journal. A lot of people like to track their mood. That's something I saw on Reddit, so I decided to add a feature for that. And for your goals, these are like big milestone goals that you want to accomplish over a long period of time. So like, let's say I want to run 500 kilometers, right? And I've already done 127. All the logging is kind of done manually, but you can get AI to actually break down the goals into smaller tasks. So that way you can actually get closer towards that goal, because otherwise people just set like big goals blindly and then they don't actually make progress towards them. So as you can see, there's like AI suggested tasks like actually plan the running schedule for May and complete 3 runs in the first week of May, so I can like add those as I want. These are like generic analytics. I can reflect on my week, so it'll give me like a good overview, and it would also tell me like what I can do next week to improve on my shortcomings from this week. So for example, like dedicate specific blocks of time for deep work, particularly on Wednesday when you felt overcommitted and all that. Focus mode, essentially this is just like a timer, and if you click outside of it, then it clocks that, and then like it can tell that you were distracted, and so you know that your work wasn't actually deep work. You can track your screen time manually as well. It gives you all the analytics for that. The AI coach, I already had this before, but something that I noticed is that it didn't do actual tasks for you. So now it can actually put blocks in your calendar for the different tasks that you like want to add. So for example, if I wanted to say schedule the gym 3 times a week, it'll go through my calendar, see those open blocks of time, and then it's gonna suggest those tasks for me, and I can just add them. And I also tried to gamify the experience. So with this achievements tab, people can kind of explore the app more and get closer to the goal and kind of like, flex their achievements and badges as they earn them. And yeah, that's Momentum. Thank you. Any questions?
I think for this class, this is good, and what you built is cool, but this is like the most dangerous place to go if you actually want to start a business, because it's extremely hard to market because it's too generalized, and lots of people go build these types of systems, and that creates a giant competitive mess, and it's hard to differentiate. People hardly search for it. So like you said a couple of things that you could, this is like one of those things where if you picked one really small vertical slice of it and focused on it, I think you could market that, and that would actually be much more interesting. Like, hey, I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, find time on my calendar and make sure that, gets done. And, I don't know how you would fully develop that, but you could at least market that and potentially get people to find it, whereas like general stuff is really hard to get people to engage with.
Or like the mood tracker that he found in Reddit, that sort of comment, and follow that thread.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Tristan. I'm a junior CS major, and today I'm excited to introduce the next generation of language learning called OpenSpeak. So next month, me and my friends are actually planning a trip to Egypt, and so we all started learning Arabic. And we tried apps like Duolingo, but we were really disappointed just because Duolingo, they have a fixed curriculum for everybody. And so sometimes you're learning about content that you may not even care about or ever use. And they also have done basically nothing to integrate the most recent advancements in AI into how they make you learn the language. And so that was my motivation behind creating OpenSpeak. So let's get right into it. Is this, the mic down here is good? Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just take you through our onboarding process. Let's say that I want to learn Spanish, and I'm a beginner. And so the entire philosophy of OpenSpeak is around these screens called scenarios. So a scenario is a real-life situation where you get to practice the language that you're learning. So in this case, it looks like our agent is just telling us hello for the onboarding process. But we have scenarios on the app for everything from coffee shops to discussing films with somebody, just all kinds of random stuff, and you can even create your own scenarios, as I'll show you later. And so yeah, here's our agent that is like impersonating someone who actually speaks the language, who we're say we're interacting with on the street. And then we also have this helper agent on the side that is able to act as our personal language mentor. So imagine if we were actually in Egypt and we were talking to someone, but we had a guide with us who spoke English and Arabic and could teach us and help us speak. Imagine that as the helper, right? And so yeah, so let's just add a response. There's some suggested replies here, which I think appeals a lot to beginners at the language, just so they aren't staring at a blank text box. Also, there's a voice mode, because I think being able to speak out the language obviously helps a lot in learning it rather than just typing it. So, ¿Cómo estás? Oh, I'm sorry. ¿Cómo estás? Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. But it's supposed to basically take in the what you're saying, and then yeah, just let you practice via voice. So yeah, I'll just go through this conversation, finish the onboarding, and then at the end of our session, the helper gives us a debrief. So it recaps exactly what we did with the agent, and also suggests ways that we can improve how we speak the language, right? And it even will suggest, as I show you once we get into the app, it'll suggest like scenarios that you could go to practice more and like hone in on your weaknesses. Okay, here's our like payment screen. And then, yeah, so let's say I want to discuss a film, or I'll show you like all the scenarios options. So these are just kind of like the pre-built scenarios, right? There's like a wide range of them to help you practice the language in real life rather than just through a textbook. And so yeah, let's say I want to practice a film. And so I can just say, yeah. Just so you know, I am planning to deploy this on TestFlight pretty soon, and so therefore I added like extra security measures for my API key. However, it looks like just before the demo, these security measures are too restrictive, and so my OpenAI API is like not currently working. But everybody in this room has tried ChatGPT, right? Everybody knows how a chatbot works. So I think it's very conceivable for you to see how this agent would respond if it was fully working, right? And so yeah, let's just go through. And then at a certain point, it gives us the option to just end the session and then go to the debrief. And so here at the debrief, there would be like an AI-generated summary, like you saw in the onboarding process, where it tells us like what we did in the conversation. It would tell us the mistakes that we made and explain like the language concepts necessary to correct them. Yeah, would it suggest further learning? And so yeah, so thank you everybody for watching. I hope that you will join me in the next generation of language learning. Thank you.
Have you tried to use this to advance your language learning?
Yeah, I actually made it because I was using tools like ChatGPT and Gemini already to practice Arabic. And I actually like use those tools like a lot more than like Duolingo or like just learning through a pre-prepared course because yeah, like it could more personalize the language to how like my personal needs, like my weaknesses, and explain things like better.
Has that helped you?
Yeah, I think so. And then it also kind of has more cultural embeddings into it, unlike if you were just learning it out of a textbook. And you know, you get to like learn more about like the culture, how it's like how the language is actually spoken, which can sometimes differ from like kind of the textbook like version of the language. So yeah, I also think LLMs are just naturally like just the way that they're engineered. They're like inherently very good at like language, right? Like just learning like semantic relationships. So I think it's like it's a really good fit for this use case. Okay. Yeah.
I was curious on if you did anything for like specific dialects, like I'm Egyptian and like that dialect is not
Okay.
what it's called on like Duolingo or like
Ah.
or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So like, are you actually learning like Egyptian Arabic or just like the general one?
Right. Yeah. So, so me personally, we've been learning Egyptian Arabic actually, but yeah, you're right. I really need to clarify that on the app, and make sure that users, it's very clear like which dialect is being taught of each of these languages. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Camila and I'm a sophomore in computer science. I will be presenting to you again, Jukebox. I think it's safe to say everyone in this room is an active music listener, and I'm sure we all have some hot takes on good songs that we know in our hearts are bad. This is the platform for you to be able to share your in-depth music opinions. People who are into film have Letterboxd. People who are into books have Goodreads. But where are we supposed to go to talk about the music we enjoy? That's where Jukebox comes in. So I'll start by going over our homepage. I really wanted to prioritize design and kind of get rid of that like AI sleek and throw in some more like, kind of think like a bit 2000s, 2010s type website vibe. When we scroll down here, we can see our community favorites along with hot discussions. And down here, we could see our loved reviews. This platform is meant to bring community together, so you can see kind of what people are saying about different songs. Down here, we have featured collections. Beyond just leaving song reviews, you're also able to create a playlist. However, this is different from Spotify playlists. This is treated more like a journal, where you're able to add annotations to specific songs, and I will show you an example. This can either go really well or really bad. Okay. So give me a title for our playlist. Like, we're all gonna make a class playlist right now.
We didn't mean for this to be that traumatic. I mean.
Okay, sad face. All right, give me a song to cry to. We don't have that song. We have that song. Why are we crying to this song? What are we feeling about this song?
Missing a past lover.
Aw, that sounded so fake. I'm sorry. Let's get another song. Say that one more time. We're gonna say Marvin Gaye. And we're gonna pretend this is the song you said. Why are we crying to this song? Missing past love ×2 of, yeah. So now we're gonna create our playlist. And now we're able to share this playlist with other people, and they can see exactly why this is a sad song. They can see that we're missing our lover, and we're missing our lover ×2. So, beyond just playlists, you're also able to leave the reviews over songs. So I'll briefly go over that one more time. Let's just go over Ordinary. You're able to see the song, you're able to see the music. I agree. You're able to see the song, you're able to see the music video, you're able to see some reviews. My friend who genuinely likes this song. You're able to see the lyrics, and you're able to see actual AI context for what they're like what he was allegedly trying to say with this song. And you're also able to get context. So you're able to kind of see online some live interviews, etc. Down here, we have more to explore. So what I wanted to do with this iteration is to make this one more community related, and two, have people stay on the platform. So we have more to explore, where we use the artist of the song to find other songs that you may enjoy and want to listen to or leave a review for, along with other top songs. On the profile, you're able to see all of your stats. So you could see reviews you've left, you can see your annotations, and now we have a My Stats page. So we can actually see the stats of the platform. I will say, these are completely randomly generated. So I guess Olivia Rodrigo is on top right now. And we're also able to see how many tracks we have so far, how many ratings, but down here you can see your personalized stats. So we could see that my average review is 3 out of 5. We could see I only love Billie Jean, and all of these tracks that I've rated. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions? So I do have a way that it embeds to Spotify. So you're able to listen to the music in the platform. But one thing I would love to add in future iterations is connecting it to iTunes/Spotify so it can keep track of your listening history and make it a lot more tailored to that. Okay, thank you.
There we go. All right, thank you. So my name is Keith McPhail, and I'm a senior management major at McCombs, and this is Sprayline. So what is the problem we're solving? Well, let's talk about sports has never been in more demand than it is right now. You may be aware that the NBA recently signed new television contracts for a total of $76 billion over the last 11 years. Astronomical number, not even the biggest sport in this country. And if you look, there's a large number of long-tail sports that have simply been left behind. Now, none of the young people in this room will know what I'm talking about, but for our mentors, people who are alive in the 80s or 70s, you'll remember the most famous clip, the most played short clip in sports of all time was the opening of Wide World of Sports, which opened with the thrill of victory, and nobody remembers what the thrill of victory was. Everybody remembers what follows that, which was the agony of defeat, which was a spectacular ski crash. And it just is a reminder of how valuable these long-tail sports once were in our broadcasting facilities, and they're just no longer being taken advantage of today. But if you look, the value is there. For example, at the Olympics coming up, you'll see that curling has become a very popular sport within the Olympics, and the sport itself is fundamentally pretty boring. It's really the storytelling behind curling that has made it popular with the Olympic fans, and we're going to bring these more modern broadcasting techniques into some of these long-tail sports and capture that value. So now, who is the user here, and what did we build here, and who are we talking to? So the user here is actually broadcast executives. This is a very niche B2B thing. And we're talking to broadcast executives, and we're talking to Madison Avenue executives that are making decisions about how they're going to be placing their advertising and how they're going to invest in their sponsorship dollars. So what we've built is a broadcast console that is designed to show this particular group of people that these long-tail sports can become exciting once again. And I picked water skiing because I am also the oldest competitive athlete on campus competing for the men's water ski team. So if this is a broadcast console, so you probably haven't seen one of these before. If you haven't, this is what's going on in the trucks that you see outside the football stadium. If you go into a TV network or a television station, this is what they're going to have. So down here we have representations of a large number of different camera feeds. And then this is sort of a switcher, which is what a broadcast director would be using. So just to give you a quick little walkthrough, just again, how do you tell the story? You've got your man launching off, then we're switching our angle, taking live to coming down. All right, let's get another side shot here. Let's add a little bit of boom. All right, so let's add his heartbeat in. All right, we can see we're getting a little bit of intensity. Let's add some telemetry. All right, here we go. We've got we're moving at 35 miles an hour, and we're going to take this live, and we're just going to walk you through a little bit of a jump so you can just see how a story would be told. Now this, I have a couple wonky things in here, and one of them is the AI photo of the actual jump. If you look at this body position, that is completely wrong. Do not do that. You will not land if you do that. But in this case, we're just going to say he landed. Boom. All right, so that's just kind of how a broadcast director could take you through the story. And again, the idea is just to show that this can be told in a compelling way. Now, what I'm going to do is take you over to sort of what would be a fan's version of how they would see this. And we're actually, so this is actually from the Water Ski Broadcast Company, and it's just taking you live through. This is their actual footage and seeing what it could look like as an example, when you start to have a little bit more information, a little less of a one-dimensional broadcast that is boring. And then, of course, the other thing that you're going to want to add to this to really capture the value is a second screen. And this is the other thing that's missing from the sport. But when you start to add in the opportunity to say, how far are they going to jump? How are they going to jump compared to the next person? Are they going to crash? Can I wager on this just a little bit? That's when it starts to get really fun. And when you have this type of high stakes thing, you can start to really unlock the value. I think one of the real advantages of this, I think one, really enjoyed building it, and two, I think it actually is taking me somewhere. In a prior conversation that I had with one of the mentors here, he explained that while we're building things, you may want to think about taking it back into areas of your personal competence. And for me, I did that with this particular project, and it does seem like it is actually going to go somewhere. So thank you for your time, and that is Sprayline.
Nice overview, an app. It made me, I think the way you described it of getting into the long tail of sports, it reminded me of the way ESPN started out when they had they had dogs that would chase frisbees and stuff like that, and dog jumping contests. Is that the idea?
Well, here, I think you stumbled onto something exactly, right? So that was the kind of thing that I think drove a lot of the long tail sports down the long tail. You'd set up a camera on the side of the river, and you really didn't have a great broadcast. You really didn't have great storytelling. You had 100 different dogs chasing a frisbee. If you don't tell a great story, slalom skiing is not a narrow competition the same way track is a narrow competition. It just becomes bodies repeating the same thing over and over again. And you really have to get into the storytelling and the split-second competitive nature of it to really build it. But I do think the value's there, and I think there's a lot of examples, like I specifically mentioned curling, where you see it, if it's broadcast that way, the value's there, and there's just never been a bigger appetite for sports content.
How does this fit in with something like Flow Sports?
I'm not familiar with Flow Sports.
They're a big, actually, Austin company. You should check them out. They're doing long tail sports too, but I think they're more focused. They might be focused more on earlier kids, sports and high school and stuff like that. But might be somewhat. I don't think it's the same, but it's kind of an interesting corollary that you should look at.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Flow Sports, like FLOW.
There's no W.
FLO.
Yep.
Flow Sports. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks everybody. Great job. So we're going to move into the voting part of this, where you get to vote on your favorite company and your peers. And while we tally these, we wanted to ask you all for feedback about the class, about what you learned, anything you want to talk about, questions about where you might want to go next with your career, anything. We'll open it up. Who's got we'll start with a point of feedback about the class. What was something that you found valuable, or something that we want to be honest, and what could we improve? Yeah.
To be fair, the point of the class is pitch to prototype, but if you could have also gone a little bit into actually going to market and marketing as the first step after actually building something, that would be really helpful.
Yep. And good point, because there's going to be an explosion of apps coming, and so marketing is going to be the real trick, which is getting recognized. Yes.
I just kind of wanted to reinforce what they were saying. I think that through this class, going from pitch to prototype has become really easy. But but now that I'm actually in the process of trying to get my app beyond that, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
So that would be really helpful.
That's really cool. Now, getting your pitch to prototype wasn't that easy before December. So it's actually something that just really came into being, but I think it's a great point. So spending more time on go-to-market, how to differentiate yourself, how to get recognized. By the way, I think there's a whole new range of tools coming to market that are aiming for that solution. Those would be pretty interesting prototypes to build, like what are people talking about on YouTube, and what is trending this week, and what are the terms, and how to get into those streams.
I think, for me, I think go-to-market is super important, but possibly it's like a companion second class. Because it's just a whole other thing, and it's like, and there's all of that can be done with AI. But also, like, I really think it seemed like people were progressing and learning how to use AI this semester. We probably can do an even better job of that too. So I like both of those.
I would just add something that sort of happened since this class started. Jack Dorsey said basically that people aren't bringing PowerPoints into meetings anymore. They're bringing AI prototypes. That was a use case that I don't think even I understood or anybody was working towards when we started this semester. But now it seems like that's going to be a skill set that we just need to work in corporate world now.
I think it's table stakes. Yeah. And your pitch and fundraising, I've heard that too, that if you don't have a demo with some users, with actual users, then even doing your early seed round, your very first round, is kind of challenging. That's become the new standard. Good point.
I think during like the beginning of the class, I would like to kind of see, like I know we touched on what people are building with, and like last week we actually went through like how something was built. I think seeing that maybe at the beginning of the class would be helpful so that people can like draw on ideas, and then focusing more on like the final product as like the weeks go on.
Like a little more,
Yeah, I really agree with that.
how to?
Big takeaway. I came out at the end, and I hope you saw I started doing it more. But I think we should just start the first class with, let's just build something in front of you and show everybody how to build, like, and like kind of make it up. Like right now, we're all going to decide and build something. We build it as a class in one class and show everybody how easy it is and what's going to happen, and then set that expectation and do more and more of that. And I'd also love to see, like, with the demos, what we weren't able to get to this semester that I was hoping for was a little bit more like what I was doing, where you're getting up and like just not just describing it, but actually doing it. Like, let me show you how to do something.
I like that. I like the gauntlet. Did you all enjoy the gauntlet day, that interaction? Yep.
I think it would be cool if we did more building in class, like maybe in small groups together, and then we can share like in smaller groups with, and also get to know the classmates more, and make more connections, but learn from each other.
Yep. Yeah, to do a little more problem solving together and team work.
I think this landscape of how to use Cloud Code and all these tools is evolving rapidly. I think it'd be really cool, and I know you guys brought in guest speakers, a lot of them. I think it'd be really cool to bring in like really crack engineers who are, using these tools and using like all the new updates every day for like 15 hours a day, and like they know exactly what they're doing. I think it'd be really cool to bring them in and like have them demo how they use Cloud Code and all these tools, whether it's Cloud Code or any other tool that would be really helpful for us, and like learning from them how to use it best.
Maybe we could find them on Git. If only there was a way to find someone on Git. I thought we touched a little bit on that with getting on the surface of that with Gauntlet, and that was very interesting, and be really cool to get some more folks up here doing that, including some of the team class thing. Yes.
We didn't touch much on ideation, but like I thought personally that was like really hard for me. And then I think that like either makes or breaks your like demo and like how impactful it is. So like maybe also like, working with small groups to like ideate and just like do that.
Yep. I love that one. The how to research an idea, how to find an idea, then do a little bit of research. It sounds like the feedback I'm hearing is a little more of an umbrella-like overview, not just the building the app and discussing it, but a little more of an umbrella around how you might actually come up with a business, a little more rounded in that way. Does that sound right?
I would maybe even counter some of that because I enjoyed how this class was kind of focused on one thing only, like you're pitching, then you're demoing, and it's a lot of like reps. It's kind of like math in a way where you're just practicing practice problems. And so I kind of enjoyed that the format was a bit different instead of just just a long train of like learning modules that accumulate over time.
Yep.
But I come at it from, I'm in the business school, so I take on, this is my entrepreneurship capstone, so I've had marketing classes, valuation, so I don't know, it's different.
I agree, and I think,
Yeah,
go ahead, Josh.
curious who else, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different ways to make it valuable, and probably there's more that we'd like to do in one class than we can. But that was my real hope, that idea of the reps, and like, I do think you learn through the reps, and, doing it once is one thing, but doing it a bunch of times. I just hope you all walk away now feeling like you have a new capability, like a new skill. Like, I know how to do this. I see that, and I know what it looks like. And I can be like, I can do that. I can make something like that. I can show you what that looks like. I can build a demo for that pitch I'm gonna go into. And I think you gotta do it way more than once to get that.
We, to that point too, that's why I think we shied away from having like a parade of presenters coming up and just talking about, oh, here's how I did my startup, or they had a business experience. Really make it more hands-on and reps, like Josh is saying.
So, if I remember correctly, Josh said that he had like a 1 hour, like, how to build something for a news report. It'd be cool if the sessions were like, you would all build a 1 hour hackathon thing, so like instructors are like on each group. So like, while we're building it, instructors like, do that in class with this. So like, it's like, we're building it and we're also learning from the instructors and people that do how you want to have it.
That would be really cool and so useful. Let me see if I can repeat it properly, but the idea is the news interview that you did with CBS, how you basically told the reporter, I'll help you build something within an hour that you will find helpful if we go through this exercise together, and then go through an exercise like that.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really cool. Like, I love, my favorite things this semester were coding together, and I know it was just boring for you guys, but like, yeah, I thought that was fun, and I think, making it real and spontaneous, and again, hoping you walk away seeing something going like, oh wait, I can do that.
Fastest, best way to turn a job interview around, by the way. You'll get a job if you go in and flip it around and say, hey, tell me about some business problem you're having, and I'm gonna fix it in an hour. You will get a job immediately. All right, I think we're running on time. If you have other suggestions, drop them in the WhatsApp, and we'll pick those up for you. And now, oh yeah, let's do attendance. And then are we gonna do the top 10? Yeah. And then we're gonna do the winner. Oh, all right. Okay, so in the winner category, we're gonna start with the top 10 of the class, and then we're gonna wrap with the overall winner as chosen by your peers, which is a great honor, by the way. All right, hot off the press. Did you email them? Wait, okay. On Signal or private? Where's the top 10?
Oh, I have it on the slide.
Oh, all right, let's do it that. All right, we're going to start out with the top 10. All right. Haroon, where's Haroon? All right, here is your golden ticket. This gets you, let's see. Hang on. 3 months free membership at Capital Factory, which includes all the snacks on that wall over there. All right, Tristan. Where's Tristan? Congratulations. Yeah. Keith? It's right here. Yep. You bet. Congrats. Where's Ben? Okay. Great job, Ben. Camilla. Where's Camilla? Where is she? Missing. Oh, she's in the back. That was a fun app. I couldn't think of any sad songs. Thank you. Arushi. Congrats. There you go. And Shri? Oh, hi. Congrats. Udon. One of our frequent flyers. Satvik. Here you go. There you go, buddy. Congrats. And Harish. Right there. Okay, hiding out back there. Congrats. All right. And now, based. All right, wait a second. Let's make sure. This is based on the class. Sullivan Bognar, Get Scout. Where did he go? Where's Sullivan? Right here? Yeah, right here. Congratulations. Great honor. Appreciate it. Yeah. Would you like to say anything to the class? Do you have an acceptance speech?
I had not been prepared, no.
All right, so Sullivan, you win a 1-year membership to Capital Factory and this special gift. Oh, $100. Uh-oh, Josh, I may need to talk to you, get that covered. And this special gift, congratulations, yeah.
Appreciate it.
You bet. Good job.
I got to do the photo.
Photo op, yeah, did we get one? We need a photo op, yeah.
Reveal the jelly cat.
Yeah, let's see the jelly cat. What's in there?
Ready?
Okay. Does that look posed? Here, will you take one for me too? I need one more. Yeah. Congrats, Holman. All right. There you go. You did it. All right. Good. Have good luck with that jelly cat. Thanks, everybody. Great year. Don't stop coding. Go out there and make it happen. And please stay in touch. Thank you.
Great class. Thank you so much. One of my favorite ones. I'll be graduating, so yeah.
Good. You got to keep it up.
Yeah. And I think I have your phone number, so if I ever, is that a good
From
way
our
to-
text. Yeah. Please. Yeah. Please stay in touch.
Taking the bus? Probably. I can walk. Are you the bus too? Huh? You the bus? Yeah.